I didn't originally cover Raiders of Blackveil when it came out in December 2025. I was planning to, but it had no cloud save, and I prefer games I can play both on my Steam Deck and my normal PC. The Gholag update finally added cloud save, so it's time for a long overdue should you buy. For the record, I'm playing this solo and with a controller, so that's where I'm coming from. The short version is that I like it. It's a top-down co-op roguelite where you play these animal rebels raiding a corporate mega-complex, and the loop is satisfying. You drop in, you fight room to room, you draft perks and find loot, and you either bank what you've got through the smuggler or push deeper for better rewards. The combat itself is straight MOBA, ability cooldowns, ult timing, positioning around your kit, which is what makes the build payoff land once it clicks. That said, it's not for everyone, and I'll cover both perspectives, because I'm not here to sell you on anything. Let's get into why I think it works, and there are three things doing the heavy lifting. First, the build depth. Most roguelites front-load your choices. Pick your character, pick your starting weapon, ride it out. Here, Perk Plus and Champion talents both unlock mid-run, so you're still making build-defining calls in your last few rooms. A fifth run with the same champion can still surprise you. Second, the combat actually demands something from you. This isn't a hold the stick and watch numbers game. You're tracking ability cooldowns, holding your ult for the right moment, repositioning out of telegraphs. Because it's MOBA combat under the hood, every fight has shape, a setup, a payoff, a recovery, instead of just bleeding HP off a wave of enemies. Third, the world holds it all together. The art direction does a lot of work here. This kind of grimdark factory backdrop with animal rebels running through it could easily look goofy, but it lands. The audio especially carries it. Footsteps, hits, ability sounds, ambient stuff in the levels, it all has weight. There's barely a story, and you don't need one because the place feels believable enough on its own. Put those three together and the pitch is pretty simple. If you want a PVE League of Legends in a roguelite jacket, this is the one. Quick thing while we're here, if this is useful, a like and a subscribe genuinely help the channel out. Back to it. Now let's talk about who shouldn't buy this, or at least where I think you should be cautious. First, the obvious one. If MOBA combat isn't your thing, this whole game isn't your thing. The ability cooldowns, the ult timing, the positioning around your kit, that's the entire loop. There's no fallback playstyle here. Second, the game does a poor job explaining itself. The tutorial walks you through the basics, but the deeper systems, which perks trigger off which ability, what classes synergize with what, how the gambler and slot machines actually work, you're mostly figuring out on your own. If you're someone who wants to understand what you're building before you build it, expect a few runs of just being confused. Third, this game is built around team composition. When you're solo, you're not missing teammates so much as you're missing roles. A boss hits hard because it's designed to be absorbed by a defense-focused hero like Ironhorn. If you're playing Chimera, you don't have that wall in front of you. You can adapt, you can build around it, but you notice the gap. Fourth, progression pacing is inconsistent. Sometimes a run drops 3 good pieces of gear back to back. Sometimes you'll do 20 minutes of clean play, hit max difficulty, and walk away with whites and greens. The loot tables don't always match what the difficulty screen advertises, and the devs themselves have said they're still tuning grind feel. Fifth, RNG plays a bigger role early in a run than I'd like. Because builds depend on drafting the right perks, a bad first few rooms can lock you out of the build you wanted. Late game it evens out, but early on, the run can decide for you. These do feel like typical early access problems, though. If any of them are deal breakers for you, fair enough. This might not be your moment to jump in. But they're worth keeping an eye on because the trajectory since launch has been positive, and the Gholag update closed a lot of bigger gaps than these. So that's the call. If you want a PVE League of Legends in a roguelite jacket, and you can stomach a few early access rough edges, this is a yes from me, especially at the sale price around $15. If those sound like deal breakers, let it cook until 1.0. If you want to know what got the game from a rough launch to where it is now, the patch breakdown video is up on the channel. Thanks for watching.